All right, everybody. Here we are at Totally Driven Radio, and we are getting ready to interview the singer of Queensryche, Todd LaTorre. Let's get him on the phone. All right. Well, the big news is the smoke has cleared. The lawsuit and everything, all of your legal stuff, it's all behind you guys for the band. Is everybody happy and relieved and just ready to move on?
Everyone is very happy and relieved, and we are moving on. Yeah, so it's a good time.
You know, it's funny because when it came out, I just pictured you guys kind of like like winning the Stanley Cup, the cup or something, and pouring champagne over each other's head, and just a big celebration.
You know, it's just been, I wasn't personally involved in it. Right. I wasn't a named party, so I was kind of on the outskirts a little bit, but certainly I was, filled in on some things. And when it finally came to be, I think everyone, was just a process that seemed like forever. That, it was just big weight lifted off. But, it's just we've been kind of writing new songs and doing our thing anyway, so it wasn't like this big obviously, it was a celebration, but I live in Florida, right. So maybe they had a party in Seattle.
Now, that was the news that came out this week, actually, that you guys are getting ready. You guys are writing and getting ready for the new album, which comes out next year. Now, how involved were you in the writing process of the last album?
Very involved. I think there's 9 songs that have lyrics, and of the 9, I think I wrote 6 or 7 of those. But I was really involved with from the beginning to the end, outside of vocals too. I mean, everyone really contributed. I know when Dreams Go to Die was first written by Parker, I went ahead and did the drums on it for the demo, and then I called Scott and said, hey, I hope you're not going to be upset, but, Parker had this really great song, and I just went ahead and did all the drums to it. I hope you don't mind. He said, dude, whatever makes the songwriting keep evolving, it's all good. And, I said, well, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. He said, I'm not offended at all. So I still write drum parts and do stuff on demos because there's a lot of material. And, Scott respects, me as a musician. So right. Some of those parts he really liked and he kept and he tracked them as they were on the demo. And then obviously there's only one Scott Rockenfield. So right. He, did what he does best and made it his own. But there's other guitar parts that I've written. Michael has written vocal melodies like for Redemption. Scott first demoed Spore, and all on his own, like, hey, check this out. And A World Without, and Open Road, and then it becomes a full band collaboration. But everyone, is allowed to cross over into other instruments that aren't just their own in the band. So I was very involved, and I really was happy about that because I know other bands that have had new singers, and they're kind of like a hired gun, just come in, sing it this way, do it that way, and that was not the case at all. And so I feel very fortunate, and these guys in the band are really just the best people. I mean, they're so down to earth, and there's no egos. There's no hogging for songwriting credits, or it's like whatever's going to work best for the song is what we want. So, if somebody has a better vocal melody, I'll call Eddie and say, hey man, I'm kind of stumped on this. Like, what do you can you come up with a cool chorus melody? And he'll track some stuff and send it back, and we bounce ideas off of each other. And it's really stress free. Actually, it's really fun.
No, as a matter of fact, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, being yourself, being a drummer and a guitar player, is there any chance? I mean, naturally, you probably doing drums in the future for the band, but with the writing process, like you said, yes. But any chance of you maybe playing guitar on any songs or on stage in the future as well?
I don't know. I mean, I know Parker and Michael do a lot of harmonizing guitar parts, so maybe if there was a rhythm guitar section that allowed, so that there wasn't a hole there, I mean, maybe I would never ask. I would never try to be like, hey, let me do it. Let me do this. Let me do that. I don't want to be like a show off. And, I'm a decent rhythm guitar player, and I could certainly learn my part and play it live on stage. But I don't think that I would ever I don't know that I would ever grab a guitar on stage and do that. Maybe for a song, if they ever thought it was a good idea musically. I don't know. I mean, they're the guitar players. We'll just kind of let them probably do that. But as far as drumming goes, Scott and I have talked about bringing out another drum set and kind of introducing kind of a back and forth drum solo thing idea, or or maybe like doing an intro to a song and then, he takes over. I mean, he has been open to the idea of me showing my drumming ability on stage with the band. I've even also, in fact, on our last tour, because I always get on the drum riser and I like to hit the cymbals with them and kind of mess around because I'm a drummer at heart,
Sure.
And he totally, we have so much fun together doing that, and he doesn't care if I do it because I've asked him, so he even said one time, hey, to our front of house guy, hey, can we get a couple extra rack toms and flip them around on the rack so that he can kind of do some drumming too? And I've even said, hey, maybe we'll get a couple floor toms and mount them kind of to the side and a crash, like a little percussion station, if you will, and I can kind of do some noodling around, which I think would be visually really cool, and it could sound really neat. So I Scotty is so cool with me messing around on the drums and stuff. So that's definitely a much more realistic option, is to do some live drumming. If we do a full ground tour and we have our bus with the trailer and all of our gear, then that's something we would look at. But when you're using backline and you're flying over different states and countries, and to have another drum set for just a simple little thing is not very smart. So
right.
That's why none of that's happened yet. And he and I would have to sit down and try to work something out, and the band would try to come up with something that was tasteful and appealing to the fans,
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, that shows you right there that that Scott, has no ego. You would think, the drummer would be like, nah, I don't want you invading my territory. You know what I mean?
He's so cool when it comes to that. I mean, we have line checks for, before sound check, and we have a crew that does that. But sometimes if he's like running a little late, I'll be like, hey, can I want to jump on there and play him, and so I'll say, hey guys, let's play something really quick. And so I get my 2 minutes of fun behind the drums. And he's never once told me, hey, don't do that or anything like that. He's very gracious to me, and it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now also too, with the writing process for the new album, do you think with the legal issues now behind you guys, you think that's going to help relieve any stress that might have been on the guys, the way they're approaching things?
Without a doubt. I mean, it's been really tough when there's two bands with the same name, because it causes fan confusion. There's people that want to come see us, and they see our photo, for a date listed online somewhere, but it's not us. So I always say, go to queensrycheofficial.com. That's where you're going to find our confirmed dates. And vice versa. If there's people that want to go see Jeff and his band, but they see our photo, well, his ticket sales might suffer if they don't want to see, us, but they want to see him. So it doesn't, for both sides, it's been a pain in the ass.
Sure.
But now those days are just about done. I mean, after the end of August, there's only going to be one Queensryche, and that's us. And so, that's going to be really great. And then you have maybe some possible apprehension from certain promoters, like during this time of, hey, I want to book you guys, but what if you guys aren't going to be Queensryche and we've promoted you guys? So during the agreement, both sides said that we would honor the bookings of each band until the settlement was reached. So, that's why he still has bookings up through August. But I think with the press and everything, people that are kind of paying attention understand, where to go to see what band. But yeah, the stress factor is like, it's gone. And we're just focused on writing new songs and touring and, all of that kind of stuff. So there, obviously both sides are happy. Each side got what they wanted. Otherwise they wouldn't have reached a quote agreement. So there is an agreement. It's done. And now we can move on and, do what Queensryche does, which is write songs as a band and record and tour. That's what we want to do. It's an exciting time. I think that,
sure.
We've got a lot of great momentum on our side. We have a nice team of people around us that are really working hard to, and the fans. How could we forget the support of the fans? I mean, I'm the new guy. I've been in the band almost 2 years now. So, but still, the majority of the fans have really kind of embraced me and accepted me. And I'm very, very honored and thankful for that, because fans can make or break it, and they keep coming out to our shows and, supporting our record and buying our T-shirts because they're proud to be a Queensryche fan.
Right. And, and that's the one thing, like, that really kind of, like, striked me, like, as a surprise because, like you said, usually when there's a new singer that comes in, like, a lot of people right away are, like, they're bashing that guy, and they don't give him a fair chance. And it seems like, for the most part, probably like 85-90% of the people have welcomed you and have been open to your presence now with the band, and they're all for it.
I would guess that that's probably a reasonable or fair percentage, just based on what I've seen. And I'm not selective in what I read. I don't just read things that support us. I mean, there are people that don't like me. You know what I mean? They don't know me, but there are people that are purist thinkers, and they don't like the position that I'm in. And so, it's a fine line between taking the high road, but also kind of being truthful. I mean, there are a lot of things that I feel and I say and that I want to say that I don't say, because there are 4 other guys attached to me as well. And so I want what's best for the brand and the organization. But as nicely as I can put it, I think that the fact that the band is playing songs like Child of Fire, Enforcer, Whisper, Queen of the Reich, NM156, the full version with the full dual harmony guitar solo, and all of the, Prophecy, like all of these old classic metal songs that this band did, they haven't done for so long, and the fans have always wanted to hear it. So to hear the songs in the right tuning, I mean, we don't drop tune. When I first got in the band, they said, hey, if you want us to tune down a half a step, if it's easier for you, don't be afraid to ask us. And I said, no, I want to do this the best way that I can to represent the songs the way that they really go. And if it's a struggle for me, I just have more work to do for me. But, let me keep trying to do this. So I think the fact that those old songs weren't being played, I mean, some of them were played, but they were tuned down. A lot of times they were tuned down, or songs were not played in their entirety, like Roads to Madness. We play that song in its entirety. We play NM156 in its entirety. And those fans, they really love hearing that. So the fact that wasn't happening, and then when I came into the band, it started happening, it really kind of made it easier, I think, for fans to kind of rally around and go, awesome, and I don't know that it's because I joined the band, but I think that it's because I joined the band, and I'm the guy that initially said, hey, let's do this, because they knew all the songs. But when I joined the band, they said, well, why don't we ask Todd what he wants to do, what he knows, because that'll make it easier for us as a band to do these, to start going with these, with the shows. And when they asked me what I wanted to play, I said, well, let's do Queen of the Reich. Oh, shit. And their ears perked up like, wow. So I think the fact that the musical direction is back to the heavier classic set list is a big deal. And that wasn't happening for a long time. And the last few records did not sound like Queensryche. They just didn't. I mean, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm just stating a simple fact as an outsider looking in, going, "Wow, those aren't songs that sound like the band Queensryche wrote it. That doesn't sound like Michael Wilton's style or his playing, or where's the cool soaring vocals that Jeff Tate is known for?" And it just went in a different direction. So now that I'm in the band, and Parker's a great songwriter too, and he plays all of Chris DeGarmo's parts accurate. Michael has even stated in interviews, don't put your flair into these things that Chris did. Do them that way, and the fans will love you for it. And so he does them the way they're supposed to be played, and then on the new stuff, Parker can shine and be Parker. But I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on. I think I'm an interviewer's wet dream, because I cover like every question that you want to ask. I'll kind of give you the answer. Sorry.
The thing is, I'm saying to myself, like, damn, I only got freaking 20 minutes, and I can go on for an easy hour.
Dude, if you want to go another 5 or 10, we can go 5 or 10.
All right, well,
you're my last interview for today, and then I'm going to start working on recording more demo stuff today. That's what my day consists of.
Oh, okay, cool. So, one thing was like, what you kind of covered was like, with the catalog of Queensryche music. I mean, how was that for you personally, walking into this situation? Like, you had to be like, literally like a wet dream for you. Like, the stuff you get to sing. I mean, incredible stuff.
Well, let me begin by saying that I'm a drummer of 28 years. I never sang for a band. I played the club circuit here in Florida, and I played my first bar when I was 14 years old. I've always been a drummer, a rock metal drummer that sang backing vocals. Now, on my own, I wrote my own music, tracking drums, guitar, bass, vocals, harmonies, the whole thing, kind of a one-man band for my own stuff that never went anywhere. I never pushed it. It was just kind of my creative outlet. When I joined Crimson Glory in 2010, it was kind of a fluke thing, because my friend, one of my best friends, who unfortunately passed away, his name was Matt Laporte, and he was doing something with the band for a memorial concert for their original vocalist named Midnight, who passed away. And he heard me sing, and he gave me a song to work on just for fun, and he was really impressed. And long story short, I never sang for a band before 2010. I was not an aspiring vocalist to be famous or anything of the sort. I'm not a trained singer. I never took lessons to learn how to sing or scream or vibrato or do anything. It's just something I just always liked to do, although that doesn't mean I don't have improving to do, and certainly there is value in lessons. But when I got into Crimson, I was able to capture a lot of those little nuances and isms that my friend Anthony calls it the sickness, and we joke about it because it's those little crying inflections. And Midnight was so he was so emotional when he sang. And Jeff Tate had that same kind of style, similar style. And that was something that always resonated with me. So when I got into Crimson Glory, it just became kind of natural. Although the singing was much higher in Crimson Glory than Queensryche, both of them posed their own challenges. When I got into Queensryche, yeah, I could hit the notes, but I'm a grittier, kind of scratchier singer. So I've had to really focus on singing cleaner. That's been the real challenge. And then, it's really become more technique than anything. When we're finished doing a concert, at the end, we go into the dressing room, and I'm still kind of singing, and Eddie will joke and say, "Hey, the show's over, save your voice," joking around. And I say, man, I could go out there and do the whole set again, like with ease. So I've never done a concert with the band and gone, oh, my throat is just done, I'm tired. I always feel, sometimes I feel like better, and I go, wow, I think I could do a better performance now because I'm warmed up. And, we kind of joke about it, but when I walked into Queensryche, yeah, it was awesome because Queensryche was my favorite band since I was 14, alongside Iron Maiden and Stryper, and those were my favorite sounds and songs. So it would suck if a huge band wanted me to be their singer, but I just didn't really like it. But I knew that it would give me fame and fortune. So it's such a sweet, surreal sometimes situation for me because I couldn't be happier. There is no other band on the face of the earth that I would rather be in than Queensryche. And not only that, like I say, the guys in the band have no egos, so it's not like I have this great music, but the guys are very controlling of me, and so I have to tolerate that. That is not the case. Right. So it's a dream come true, man. I swear. So many people think that that they tell me how to sing and what to say and don't do this and don't do that, and they know me. We're all friends and family now, and they know that I want what's best for them, and it's not about me. It's about the collective, group.
That's freaking awesome, man. Well, so what was it like when you got first approached for this whole thing? When you were doing the shows as Rising West, you had to be blown away by the whole situation.
Well, I met Michael Wilton at the NAMM convention in California, and we were at a private artist dinner party for the company Seymour Duncan, and I actually mistook him for Eric Peterson from Testament. I was at the buffet putting food on my plate, and I looked at him and said, "Hey, great show last night." And he looked at me kind of weird, and because I had seen Testament the night before at the Grove, and I'm a huge fan of Testament, so oh shit, sorry, dude, I know who you are now, and my mistake. And so I introduced myself to him and said, how are you, and blah blah blah, and so we started talking about some side projects that he was involved in, and also some people that he works with doing music for TV and commercials and stuff like that. So I said, oh, that sounds cool. So I invited him to sit at my table so we could continue the conversation, and he had a pause, almost like he was reluctant, and then he finally said, oh, okay. So we came and sat down, and we talked and exchanged phone numbers and emails, and that was around the time that Jeff was promoting his solo album, and I think that the band, for the sake of conversation, was kind of shelved, if you will, for extensive touring. And, you know, these guys want to work and play and earn a living and whatnot, so that was when the idea was proposed. Hey, you know, I'm not sure, but this is something that, you know, we're considering so we can still play. How would you feel about this? And I need to talk to the other guys. And I said, well, look, if you're going to really officially offer me this side gig, then yes, of course. I mean, my answer will totally be yes. And so I recorded a couple classic Queensryche songs, and he showed them to the guys, and they were very happy with what they heard. And so they emailed me, and then that's when the phone call conversation started happening, and it just kind of took off from there. You know, we all became friends rather quickly. And then we booked the 2 shows at the Hard Rock. They were sold out before I ever even like played one note with the guys. So a lot was riding on Michael and those guys, you know, hey, I hope this guy's, you know, good because we're playing, you know, and
right.
And it was just it was all good ever since, you know, those first 2 shows. People got to hear Queen of the Reich for the first time in so long, and they were like, this is fucking awesome, you know?
At any moment, did you feel like Mark Wahlberg in the movie Rockstar?
Yeah. Dude, aside of the fact that in the movie he was in a tribute band, you know, other than that, that's been my life with this situation. I mean, I totally know what that feels like. I don't feel like the fanboy anymore because I see these guys. I mean, when I go to Seattle, I stay at Michael's house, you know, and eat with their families, and we're buddies, you know. So I don't see him in that way anymore. Although I still obviously respect him immensely, but
right.
There were a couple times where I'm watching Scott Rockenfield play right next to me, or I'm hearing the very first time we did Empty Room, and it was like, wow, like I've heard this, I've listened to this song so many times, and the real guy who is playing, like he's right here. Holy shit, this is so fucking awesome. You know, it's like it's hard to describe. You know, there are those few moments where, you know, people and my friends, you know, they'll say, man, you must just be like freaking out. You sing for Queensryche. And I'm like, no, I'm not freaking out. I'm not 20. I'm 40. You know, I mean, there was a life before Queensryche, so it's not like this is all I've ever known. And, you know, I mean, I get to live my dream because of these guys, and I will forever be grateful. But yeah, it's my friends joke about it more. I don't really joke about it, but my you know, one of my buddies will call and go, dude, I still can't believe you're the freaking singer for Queensryche. I mean, it's like I've been in the band 2 years, and when I talk to him, he still says that, and kind of like hometown boy makes good, you know, because there's not a lot of people or bands that have made it to this level from where I live. I mean, Sabotage, obviously, and a lot of the, you know, Crimson Glory, a lot of the death metal scene was born here in Tampa. So that's always been a big thing here. But it's, you know, I value it every day because in the blink of an eye, you know, life can change. And so I don't take it for granted at all.
Right, right. So in other words, if we're ever down in the Florida area and we see a Batmobile rolling around, it's you.
Nice.
So you guys are doing.
What else you got?
You guys are doing dates through the rest of the year as well, right?
Yeah, we've got. I need to look at our calendar actually because it's a little blurry in my mind right now. But we've got shows. I don't know how far we're booked up until. I know we've got some shows coming up this month in Tucson and then El Paso. Then we fly to Sweden on June 2nd. headline one of the nights there for Sweden Rock, and then we come home, play Idaho, and we've got our two booking agents, and the one who does all of North America, so that's all the U.S. and Canada. He's constantly working on things to get us like the best shows and whatnot. And then we have another agency that's based out of Europe, and they cover a huge territory. I mean, basically everywhere else. So you're talking China, Japan, South Africa, all of Latin America, so Central and South America, Australia, parts of the Middle East. So you're, Dubai, India. I mean, so we're really right now we're in the process of formulating a proper tour, and that will kind of centers around the album and which territories make the most sense for the time. And so right now we're completely reorganized, and we're putting together dates. So I would highly recommend that anyone who's interested in Queensryche tour dates to go to queensrycheofficial.com, and on our Facebook page too. We also constantly post. I think people go to Facebook almost faster than they go to a .com anymore.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right. It's.
I know I do. I go on Facebook. If I want to see something, I type the band in and I look there first. It's just easier. It's because it's more up to date. But yeah, we're working on more shows, man. We're really anxious to get out there and just start pounding it.
I say that to people too. A lot of the people we interview, like I say, we end up, anymore. The only reason to have a website is to be like the medium hub for all your social media links.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, you go to a .com, you see the icons for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, I guess somebody uses MySpace still, I guess, but, and so those things they're all there, and then you end up, I mean, maybe you'll look at, I think probably the best thing is just you look at their tour, you click on the tour link, and that's where you're going to get a more concise thing. But yeah, you're right. I think most people do use the .com as a hub and then immediately branch out into probably Facebook first.
Yeah,
it's just the times that we live in now,
Nice. Final question, and I'll let you go.
It's all good.
Actually, you know what? My time is going to get cut off. So if you can just cut a quick ID, you know what? I can keep going. I have time. All right. I thought it was going to get cut off. If your favorite Queensryche song to perform.
Oh, shit. I'm going to get...
Only can pick one.
Oh, gosh.
The one you look forward to on stage.
The Warning.
Nice. Very nice.
Mm-hmm. You're only letting me pick one, so that's one.
There you go. Cool. If you just get a quick ID for me before I let you go. And
sure, bud.
This is Todd LaTorre, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
Ready?
Go for it.
Hey, everyone. This is Todd LaTorre from Queensryche, and you're listening to Totally Driven. Fuck, hold on. You're going to have to cut and edit that.
That's all right.
Hey, my dog's barking. What are you doing? He's my little watchdog, so you're going to have to cut and edit this, okay?
Okay.
Is it Totally Driven Radio or .com or what is it?
Totally Driven Radio.
Okay, ready? Let's do it again.
Go for it.
Okay. Hey, everyone, this is Todd LaTorre from Queensryche, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
Awesome. Todd, thank you
so
much.
Cool, bud. Yeah, man.
Come by Philly, we'll have to hook up and get some beers.
Totally. I don't drink, but we'll go out and grab a couple drinks, or you come to a show and maybe get with our people and do a follow-up interview or something on site.
Totally. Awesome. I'd appreciate it.
Cool, man. Hey, real quick, is that where you guys use, like, I got a buddy, a best friend from Chicago, and he's talking about these Philly cheesesteaks. You guys use Cheese Whiz on a Philly? Is that how it works? What's the deal with that? I don't even know about that.
It matters where you go. Like, if you go to like the typical tourist spot in Philly, like your Pat's or your Geno's or your Tony Luke's, you're going to get whiz, but they'll ask you. You got to tell them you have to order it the right way, or they get pissed off at you. Usually, you got to get like fried onion. So usually they'll say they give you like a little thing at the window too, like how to order properly. So if you want cheese,
oh my God, it's like the soup Nazi on Seinfeld.
Exactly. And there was a big thing a couple of years ago. The owner of Geno's Steaks, South Philly Italian guy, when foreigners would come up to the window, they couldn't speak the language. He started getting pissed off, and it was like a huge news story because he put a sign in his window: if you can't speak English and order properly, don't order at all.
I think I saw that on my news here. This was probably, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah,
maybe not that long ago.
But if you want whiz, you go up to the window and you say whiz. If you want fried onions, it's whiz with. Or in Philly talk, whiz wit.
Whiz wit? And that means you don't even have to say fried onions? Or grilled onions or whatever?
The wit is with fried onions.
Wow.
If you want
I guess they take that pretty serious.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. Somebody, buddy of mine was like, have you ever had it with whiz? I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, cheese whiz. I'm like, cheese whiz? He's like, oh, yeah, that's how I was like, I didn't know. I mean, how would I know that? I don't know. I live in Florida.
That's funny. Yeah.
Cool, man.
It's a whole science. So now you know, whiz wit.
Whiz wit.
Whiz wit.
Got it. Cool, man. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed the interview. And, I guess we'll see it online somewhere, and we'll definitely post it on our social media, and I will too.
Awesome, cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll give John a heads up when I'm going to post it out there.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, have a great day, and thanks for the interest and support. Okay, bud.
Take care, Todd.
Take care. Yep, you too.
Bye.
Bye.